My engagement ring is digging into my finger, causing pain. Just a moment ago, through a door, I heard my fiancé Ethan gently coaxing another woman. Olivia, he said, don't worry, our child will be fine. Our child? Huh. I was still holding the imported snacks I bought for her. Ironically, I was originally supposed to go to that godforsaken remote branch, but because of their affair, I ended up staying. Things shouldn't have turned out this way. When the list for Global Corp's Remote Area Development Project came out, my name was shockingly on it. That place was said to be harsh, and going there basically meant the end of your career. My parents were extremely worried, and my sister Chloe even cried and begged to go in my place. Chloe had just graduated and was in poor health. There was no way I could let her suffer that hardship. The upheaval happened just before I was about to register our marriage. Ethan said his family had connections and could keep me here, but someone had to fill the spot. Olivia happened to be sick at that time, needing long-term rest and unable to take the overseas assignment. Naturally, Chloe's name was put forward. At the time, I was grateful to Ethan for negotiating on my behalf and felt indebted to my sister. Looking back now, it was all calculated. Olivia wasn't sick at all, she was pregnant. All of Ethan's consideration for me was just to keep me steady so he could secretly be with Olivia. His special care for Olivia, the concern, even personally driving her to checkups, was never out of friendship. The one he loved all along was Olivia. I was like a fool, completely played by him. Thinking of this, my stomach churned violently. I didn't knock on the door. I turned around and left. The snack bag in my hand was thrown harshly into the trash can. Back home, Chloe was curled up on the sofa holding a hot water bottle, her face pale and her forehead covered in cold sweat. The menstrual pain made it almost impossible for her to speak. Seeing her in such agony, my heart felt like it was being tightly squeezed. I can't let Chloe go to that damn place. I can't let her endure such hardship because of my happiness. Even less can I let our parents lose face in the neighborhood and be gossiped about because of this. Once Ethan and Olivia's scandal is exposed, the torrent of slander will drown our entire family. No. I took a deep breath, suppressing the humiliation and anger in my heart. Chloe, I walked over, trying to slow my voice. I'll handle that project. Chloe looked up in surprise. Sis, what are you talking about? Isn't it already decided? I've changed my mind. I patted her head. You stay in the city, take good care of yourself, and keep your parents company. I didn't explain the reason. Once this decision is made, there's no turning back. I have to keep up the act in front of Ethan and his family, at least until I manage to leave smoothly. The next day, as if nothing had happened, I followed Ethan to his home. The sun was shining brightly, Ethan was in a great mood, and he kept dreaming about our future. He said his parents couldn't wait to meet me and discuss the wedding details. I looked at the profile of his face, which I once found so charming, but now only made me feel waves of nausea. Ethan's parents were very warm to me, asking about my well-being and presenting gifts they had prepared long ago. His mother held my hand and said with a smile, Isabella, Ethan is truly lucky to marry you. I think we should set the wedding date for next month. What do you think? I forced a stiff smile, but before I could respond, Ethan's phone rang. He answered the call, and his expression changed instantly. What? Stomach pain? Is it serious? Don't move. I'll be there right away. After hanging up, Ethan hurriedly said to me, Izzy, it's Olivia. She's suddenly having severe stomach pain. I have to go check on her. He didn't even wait for my answer before turning to his parents. Dad, Mom, we'll talk about the wedding later. I'll take Olivia to the hospital first. Ethan's mother frowned, her tone tinged with displeasure. Olivia? She's sick again? Why is there so much trouble with this pregnancy? She never used to be this delicate. My heart skipped a beat. His mother seemed to know something, or rather, had long harbored suspicions. Ethan ignored his mother's complaints and grabbed my wrist. Izzy, come with me. You know a bit about nursing and can help. I could hardly believe my ears. He wanted me, his fiancée, to take care of the pregnancy of the woman he cheated with? I'm not going. I shook off his hand, my voice cold. Ethan was stunned for a moment, probably not expecting me to refuse. He grew a little impatient. Izzy, don't throw a tantrum. This is a matter of life and death. I said, I'm not going. I repeated, looking at him with a determined gaze. Ethan's father also spoke up. Ethan, what are you doing? Isabella is still here. As for Olivia, can't you let her call an ambulance herself? Dad, You don't understand. Ethan was as anxious as ants on a hot pan. There's no one with her. He ignored me, grabbed the car keys, and rushed out. His mother shook her head in frustration, her eyes full of apology and a hint of curiosity as she looked at me. That meal ended in discord. I used the excuse of feeling unwell to leave Ethan's house early. His parents wanted me to stay, but I didn't want to stay for a moment longer. Stepping out of that beautiful house, I felt like I was about to suffocate. The sense of humiliation overwhelmed me like a tide. At night, I tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. My mind was filled with images of Ethan nervously worrying about Olivia, and his mother's suggestive words. The next day at work, I was an administrative staff member at the hospital. As soon as I walked into the lobby, I saw Ethan carefully supporting Olivia as she came in. Olivia looked pale, clutching her lower abdomen, clearly in discomfort. When Ethan looked up and saw me, he was momentarily stunned. Then his face filled with concern. Izzy, you look terrible. Didn't sleep well last night? I was too lazy to bother with him and walked straight to my office. But he followed me, whispering, Izzy, I know what happened yesterday upset you, but Olivia's situation is special. I can't ignore it. Could you go check on her for me? The doctor said she needs to stay under observation, and I can't leave. I stopped, turned around, and looked at him coldly. Ethan Miller, do you think this is appropriate? He was startled by the chill in my eyes and stammered, I just, move aside. I didn't want to say another word to him. Just then, Olivia's scream came from the hospital room. Ethan's face changed drastically, and he rushed in immediately. I followed, wanting to see what had happened. Olivia was lying on the ground, with faint traces of blood beneath her. When she saw me, she immediately pointed at me, crying out, Ethan, it was her. Isabella pushed me. She's jealous that I'm carrying your child. She wants to kill our baby. I was stunned. I didn't touch her at all. She was already lying on the ground when I came in. Ethan suddenly turned to look at me, his eyes full of anger and disbelief. Isabella, why did you do this? I didn't. I shouted back. She was like that when I came in. You're lying. Olivia cried even harder. You pushed me, you wicked woman. Ethan completely ignored my explanation, his eyes red like an enraged beast. He rushed over and grabbed my arm. Was it you? Tell me. I said it wasn't me. I struggled hard. Doctors and nurses rushed in, the scene chaotic. Olivia was quickly lifted onto a stretcher and taken to the emergency room. Ethan pointed at me and said to the doctor, Doctor, it was her. She pushed Olivia down. If anything happens to the child, I will never let her go. I was cold all over. He didn't even give me a chance to defend myself before convicting me. Olivia is hemorrhaging heavily. Her condition is critical, and she urgently needs a blood transfusion. The blood bank is running low, and her blood type is quite rare. Ethan grabbed a nurse like a madman and asked, Who has type O blood? Quickly, who is it? A nurse checked the records and looked at me. Isabella has type O blood. Ethan immediately turned to me and ordered, Izzy, go give blood, quickly. I looked at him in disbelief. Ethan, I have anemia. The doctor said I'm not suitable for donating blood. I don't care. He grabbed my arm and almost dragged me towards the blood transfusion room. Saving lives is the priority now. Olivia can't be harmed. Let go of me. I struggled desperately. Ethan, you can't treat me like this. He was incredibly strong. I couldn't break free at all. He pinned me to the chair and shouted at the nurse, Draw her blood, quickly. The cold needle pierced my vein, my blood slowly draining away, my body growing colder and colder, and my head starting to spin. I watched Ethan anxiously waiting outside the emergency room, my heart sinking. This man, for another woman and her child, could so easily sacrifice me without hesitation. After the transfusion, I was so weak I could barely stand. Leaning against the wall, I slowly made my way out, passing by Olivia's hospital room. The door wasn't fully closed. I heard Olivia's weak but resentful voice from inside. Ethan, I'm so scared. Isabella is so cruel. She must have done it on purpose. She doesn't want us to be together. Then Ethan's gentle reassurance, Don't be afraid. I'm here. I won't let her hurt you again. My footsteps came to a halt. At that moment, Ethan was just coming out of the room. Seeing me, the warmth on his face instantly vanished, replaced by cold disdain. What are you still doing here? His tone was unfriendly. I looked at him, my lips moving slightly, but no sound came out. Overwhelming sadness and despair gripped me. Olivia started crying again in the hospital room. Ethan, my stomach hurts so much. Ethan immediately turned back, As he passed by me, he paused for a moment, looked at me with a complicated expression, and then, without any warning, slapped me hard across the face. With a sharp smack, my head was struck to one side, my ears ringing, my face burned with pain. "Who are you playing the victim for?" he said through gritted teeth. "Olivia is already like this, and you still have the nerve to act? Get lost." Not satisfied, he raised his foot and kicked my calf. I staggered, holding onto the wall to keep from falling. At that moment, all the grievances, anger, and unwillingness vanished. Only a bone-deep coldness and numbness remained. My heart died. I am completely heartbroken over Ethan Miller. I lifted my head and looked at him indifferently, then, step by step, dragged my weak body away from this suffocating place. Without looking back, behind me, it seemed that Ethan's voice sounded slightly panicked, but I no longer cared. Something shattered forever with the unsteady steps of my departure. Ethan watched Isabella's frail and resolute figure disappear at the end of the corridor, his heart suddenly tightening, gripped by an inexplicable panic. It was as if something extremely important was slipping away with her leaving, but he was quickly pulled back to reality by Olivia's moans in the hospital room. For the next week, Ethan stayed by Olivia's side in the hospital almost without leaving. He took leave from work, and when his parents called to question him, he brushed them off. His mind was in chaos, worried about Olivia, yet unable to forget the hollow, desperate eyes Isabella had when she left. A week later, Olivia was discharged from the hospital. Her body had recovered somewhat, but the pain of losing her child made her even more dependent on Ethan. It was at this time that Noah Hayes returned. Noah was Ethan's childhood friend and also Olivia's former fiancé. They had just recently called off their engagement, reportedly due to personality clashes. Noah came from a prominent family, and his sudden return put pressure on Ethan. He couldn't let Noah know that Olivia was carrying his child, nor could he allow this matter to ruin his future and reputation. He had to keep Isabella steady. When Ethan found me, I was packing my bags, preparing to submit the application for the remote area development project. He blocked the doorway, his face showing a trace of fatigue and a forced attempt to please. "Izzy, let's talk." I didn't look at him and continued organizing my things. "There's nothing to talk about. Izzy, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have hit you, nor forced you to have a blood transfusion." He tried to take my hand, but I dodged. "But Olivia lost her baby. She's pitiful too. She has already forgiven you." "Forgive me?" I almost laughed out loud. "What right does she have to forgive me? The wedding must go on." Ethan looked at me, his tone firm and unyielding. "For the sake of both our families' reputations and the Global Corp project, nothing can go wrong. You have to cooperate with me." I stopped what I was doing, looked up, and quietly stared at him. The calculation and selfishness in his eyes were laid bare. "Fine. If you want to play a role, I'll play along with you." "Okay," I answered calmly. "The wedding continues." Ethan clearly breathed a sigh of relief, a look of release and happiness on his face. "I knew you were the most sensible." He didn't see the cold flash that flickered in my eyes. On the day of the wedding, I wore a pure white wedding dress, standing in the carefully decorated hall, watching Ethan walk toward me in a sharp suit. Guests gathered in crowds, and both sets of parents wore smiles on their faces. Everything seemed so perfect. The priest began his speech. Just as the ring exchange was about to take place, I interrupted him. "Wait a moment." Everyone's eyes were on me. Ethan looked at me with some surprise. I picked up the microphone, my voice clear and loud. "Before saying I do, I want to clarify one thing first." I turned to Ethan, my gaze icy cold. "Ethan Miller, are you sure you want to marry me? After you got your good friend Olivia Vance pregnant?" Ethan's face instantly turned pale. "Isabella, what nonsense are you talking about?" His parents were also stunned, and Ethan's mother nearly fainted. Olivia was sitting in the front row. She immediately stood up, tears welling in her eyes. "Isabella, how can you slander me like this? Ethan and I are just friends. The child in my belly, the child is Noah's." She pointed the accusation at Noah Hayes, who was also sitting in the front row, his face ashen. Everyone's gaze then turned to Noah. At that moment, the door of the auditorium was pushed open, and a person in uniform with a serious expression walked in, followed by several colleagues. "Mr. Noah Hayes?" the person in charge asked. Noah stood up, frowning. "Yes, that's me. We received a report and need to verify some information with you." The man glanced at Olivia. "Is the child that Ms. Olivia Vance once carried yours?" Noah glanced at the tearful Olivia, then at the pale-faced Ethan, and said decisively, "No, it's not." Olivia screamed, "Noah, you can't treat me like this. It was clearly you." "Enough, Olivia," Noah interrupted her, his voice as cold as ice. "You know whose child it is yourself." He turned to Ethan. "Ethan, it was you, wasn't it?" Ethan trembled all over, his lips quivering, unable to speak. "Mr. Ethan Miller," the previously stern man stepped forward. "We are from Global Corp's Disciplinary Inspection Department. We have received a formal complaint accusing you of abusing your authority to engage in improper relations with a subordinate, attempting to cover it up, and coercing others to take your place. Please come with us to cooperate with the investigation." Ethan completely collapsed. He looked at me, his eyes filled with fear and despair. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Ethan was taken away by the Disciplinary Inspection Department. Taking advantage of the chaos, I quietly took off my wedding dress, revealing the casual clothes I had prepared underneath. I walked over to my parents and sister, who were already in tears, and gave them a hug. "Dad, Mom, Chloe, I'm sorry for making you worry. I'm leaving now." "Izzy," Mom sobbed uncontrollably, "take good care of yourself." Dad patted my shoulder, his eyes red. I nodded, turned around, and resolutely walked toward the entrance of the auditorium, heading to the waiting taxi outside. Rushing to the train station, there, I had a ticket long purchased, bound for that remote area. Goodbye, Ethan Miller. Goodbye to all this disgusting mess. Ethan was taken away for investigation by Global Corp's Disciplinary Inspection Department. Although due to some leeway in the chain of evidence and his father using some connections, he was not ultimately fired, but he was severely punished, and his promotion path was completely blocked. The day he was released, he came home to face his father's furious scolding and a solid beating. His father was so angry he nearly fainted, pointing at his nose and calling him a disgrace to the family. Ethan was a mess, bruised all over his body and face. He locked himself in his room, his mind replaying Isabella's cold gaze and resolute back at the wedding over and over again. Regret gnawed at his heart like a venomous snake. He had lost her, completely lost her. He dashed out of the house like a madman and drove to Isabella's home. Chloe opened the door, and when she saw Ethan, her eyes were filled with disgust and contempt. "Where is Isabella? I want to see her," Ethan shouted hoarsely. "My sister is gone," Chloe said coldly. "She went to the place you were supposed to go. She doesn't want to see you anymore." Isabella's father came out, holding a broom. "Get out. You're not welcome in our home." He shooed Ethan away like a fly. The door slammed shut in front of Ethan. He leaned against the cold door, slowly sliding down to the ground. He finally realized that Isabella was truly gone, severing all ties with him in the most tragic way. Pain and regret overwhelmed him like a tsunami. He covered his face and let out a beast-like whimper. Just as Ethan was drowning in despair, Olivia came to see him. She looked much more haggard, but her eyes still held a certain obsession. "Ethan," she grabbed his arm, "Noah and I are completely done. His family has already called off our engagement. Now I only have you. Let's be together." Ethan looked at her, feeling nothing but irritation and disgust, especially after learning that Isabella had really gone to that remote branch. The feeling intensified. He shook off Olivia's hand. "I don't want to see you. Leave." Olivia refused to leave and instead ran to Ethan's doorstep, throwing a tantrum and crying, accusing Ethan of starting something and abandoning her. The neighbors pointed and whispered, and Ethan's mother was so upset that she fainted on the spot and was taken to the hospital. At the hospital, watching his mother lying in bed on oxygen, Ethan's last shred of affection for Olivia vanished completely. He found Olivia, his gaze icy cold. "What exactly do you want?" "I want you to take responsibility," Olivia cried out. "Take responsibility?" Ethan sneered. "Fine, I'll give you some money. Take it and disappear from my life forever." Olivia was stunned, then screamed, "Ethan Miller, you bastard!" At that moment, a young girl dressed in a nurse's uniform found Ethan. She was a former colleague of Isabella. "Mr. Miller," the girl hesitated before speaking. "Actually, Miss, Olivia fell by herself that day. I happened to pass by the ward door and saw it with my own eyes." She only shouted that Isabella pushed her after seeing Isabella come in. Ethan was struck as if by lightning, standing there dumbfounded. Did she fall by herself, framing Isabella? He recalled how he had indiscriminately blamed Isabella, forced her to have a blood transfusion, and even hit her. A surge of immense regret and self-loathing instantly engulfed him. He raised his hand and slapped himself hard twice. The sharp, heavy smacks echoed loudly. He rushed out like a madman and found Olivia. You tell me, what exactly happened that day? He grabbed Olivia's shoulders and shook her hard. Did you fall by yourself? Did you frame Isabella? Olivia's eyes flickered as she tried to argue. Ethan, listen to my explanation. Explain what? Came a cold voice. Noah Hayes walked over, followed by a man who looked rough and shady. Noah looked at Olivia, his eyes full of contempt. Olivia, stop pretending. I've already found him. He pointed to the man beside him. Isn't this the real father of the child in your belly? You've been messing around with him the whole time we were engaged, haven't you? The man flinched slightly, not daring to look at Ethan and Noah. Olivia's face instantly drained of all color. Ethan was completely stunned. The child wasn't his? Not even the child was his? Had Olivia played him twice? A surge of uncontrollable rage shot straight to his head. He suddenly grabbed Olivia by the neck, his eyes bloodshot. You bitch. I'm going to kill you. Ethan, stop. Noah pulled him away just in time. Olivia took the opportunity to scramble away as fast as she could. Ethan lunged at Noah like a madman. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you. Noah didn't dodge. Instead, he stepped forward to confront him. The two former friends grappled with each other. Noah was clearly superior, knocking Ethan to the ground with just a few punches. Noah looked down coldly at Ethan, who was sprawled on the ground, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said coldly, Ethan Miller, from today on, our brotherhood ends here. You truly disgust me. After saying that, he walked away without looking back, leaving Ethan alone, like a defeated dog, lying on the cold ground, feeling the double pain of body and soul. He had lost everything, his job, his reputation, his friends, and the girl he only realized he cherished after losing her. And at this moment, Isabella, have settled in a remote small town in the northwest, thousands of kilometers away. The conditions here are indeed harsh, but the air is fresh and the people are simple and honest. I was assigned to work at the town's health clinic, putting my nursing knowledge to use. The work is busy, dealing with all kinds of patients every day, from simple headaches and colds to urgent trauma cases. Although tiring, seeing the patients recover and hearing their sincere thanks gives me an unprecedented sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. Far from the city's noise and those troublesome affairs, my mind gradually opened up. Noah occasionally comes to see me, bringing news and books from the city. He never mentions Ethan and Olivia, only silently supporting and encouraging me. Izzy, don't give up on studying. He handed me several brand new medical textbooks. The experience here is also a form of accumulation for you. When the opportunity arises in the future, you should still return to a higher platform. His appearance was like a ray of warm sunshine, illuminating my somewhat gloomy life, but it also brought some trouble. News travels fast in small places. Soon, rumors spread that a beautiful doctor from the city, was being kept by a big official who drove a nice car. The words were very harsh. One night, after work, I was blocked on the road by a few local thugs who were drunk. They spoke lewdly and made unwanted advances. I grabbed a wooden stick from the roadside and fought back desperately, but the strength gap was too great. Just as I was about to give out, a blinding car headlight shone over, and Noah jumped down from the car. He chased those thugs away with just a few punches and kicks, then anxiously checked on me. Izzy, are you okay? Seeing the worry in his eyes, my nose tingled, and tears almost fell. When Noah learned about the rumors, his expression darkened. He found the town's leader, seriously clarified our relationship, and warned those who were spreading lies and causing trouble. To completely eliminate trouble, Noah came up with an idea. Izzy, he said to me, how about you tell others that I'm your boyfriend from now on? Maybe that will reduce some of the harassment. I was momentarily stunned, looking into his serious eyes, a strange feeling stirring in my heart. I didn't agree immediately, but I didn't refuse either. Faced with rumors, I no longer silently endured as before. I learned to fight back. Whoever gossiped behind my back, I would find trivial, embarrassing stories from their family and spread them in a seemingly accidental way. After a few times, those busybodies quieted down, and no one dared to provoke me easily anymore. Time passed quickly, and the news came that the country was restoring the college entrance examination. Noah sent me a complete set of review materials immediately. Izzy, this is an opportunity you must seize. Looking at those brand new books, the long-buried dream in my heart was reignited. I began to use all my spare time outside of work to study hard. Whenever Noah was free, he would come over and patiently tutor me in detail. Under the lamp, our figures discussing problems together became a unique scene at the health clinic. Just as I was fully preparing for the exam, an unexpected visitor shattered the peace here. Ethan Miller. He actually found this place. He looked much more haggard and considerably darker. He blocked my way, his eyes carrying an almost crazed stubbornness. Izzy, come back with me, he said hoarsely. I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I love you. Izzy, can we start over? I looked at him, feeling nothing but absurdity and ridicule. Ethan Miller, I said coldly, do you think there's still a chance between us? Why not? He said urgently. Olivia lied to me. It's all her fault. I'm sincere with you. Sincere? I sneered. Your sincerity is choosing to believe others and inflict violence on me when I was framed, forced to have a blood transfusion, and beaten by you? Ethan's face turned pale. I was deceived by her at the time. Enough. I interrupted him. Your presence will only bring me trouble. His arrival indeed stirred up new rumors in the small town. Some said I came here after being abandoned by a man from the city, and now he has come looking for me. There were all kinds of unpleasant versions. My disgust for Ethan deepened even further. I found him and told him clearly, Ethan, put away your cheap affection and regret. I am doing well now. I have found my own worth, and I don't need your salvation, nor your entanglement. Please leave and stop disturbing my life. Ethan looked at me with a firm and cold gaze, seemingly deeply hurt. Just then, Noah's car stopped not far away. He came over and naturally stood by my side. I looked at Noah, a surge of courage rising in my heart. I reached out my hand and held his warm palm. Then, I lifted my head, meeting Ethan's shocked and pained gaze, as well as the curious and probing looks around us, and clearly announced, this is my boyfriend, Noah Hayes. We're together. Noah was momentarily stunned, then tightly squeezed my hand, a gentle and resolute smile appearing on his face. Ethan looked at our tightly clasped hands, the color draining from his face in an instant. He staggered back a few steps, his eyes hollow, as if his whole world had collapsed. He murmured something, but I could no longer hear it, nor did I want to. In the end, he left like a soulless puppet, lost and desolate. I know, this time, he is truly desperate. When the college entrance exam results came out, I was admitted to a prestigious medical university in the capital as I had hoped. Noah also applied to a university in the same city for further studies. We packed our bags together, bid farewell to the small town that witnessed my rebirth, and set off hand in hand toward our new life. Ethan was later transferred back to the city, but his position was marginalized with no chance of promotion. I heard he became silent and withdrawn, often lost in thought alone. He began to reflect on his past and gradually came to recognize Noah's sincerity and excellence. He anonymously donated a large sum of money to the health clinic in that small town in the Northwest, improving the medical conditions there. The last news I heard of him was that he boarded a southbound train alone, carrying a heavy heart full of loneliness and irreparable regrets, leaving the city that had taken everything from him. My relationship with Noah was steadily progressing. After graduation, I took Noah home to meet my parents. They were very pleased with Noah's steady and reliable nature, and soon set our wedding date. Just as we were busy preparing for the wedding, one day on the street, I unexpectedly saw a figure both familiar and strange. The whole room erupted in uproar. She was wearing tattered clothes, her hair yellowed and dry, sitting dazed by the roadside, holding a dirty begging bowl. The once glamorous and bright image was completely gone. I heard that she was later abandoned by that man, and because of her bad reputation, she couldn't find work and eventually ended up on the streets. I looked at her, feeling neither hatred nor sympathy, only indifference. This was the path she chose for herself. Our wedding took place as scheduled. The sun was shining brightly, surrounded by friends and family. Noah held my hand, his gaze gentle and resolute. Just as we were exchanging rings and about to say our vows, a disheveled figure suddenly rushed out from the crowd, holding a gleaming fruit knife, stabbing straight at me. It was Olivia. She looked mad, shouting hoarsely, Isabella, you ruined me. I want you to pay with your life. Everything happened so fast, I had no time to react. Just then, a figure suddenly lunged forward, blocking my way. With a pp sound, the sharp blade pierced flesh, clearly audible. Time seemed to stand still. I opened my eyes wide in terror and saw that the person standing in front of me was none other than Ethan Miller. Blood gushed from his chest, staining his white shirt red. He looked at me, his eyes complex, filled with pain, relief, and a trace of an emotion I couldn't understand. He opened his mouth, as if wanting to say something, but in the end, he only managed to pull off an extremely ugly smile before slowly collapsing.